Now, more of the Midcoast Morning Buzz, WCME.
And at 7:38:22 to late Jim Bleikamp in the Midcoast Morning Buzz on the first Monday of the busiest month of the year around here. As I have been mentioning, we have Brunswick Police Chief Scott Stewart here, and we're going to use the time mostly to talk about police matters. But Chief, as one among us who has seen the Red Sox a few times up close, I believe this season, it depends what your reaction to the weekend sweep of the Dodgers. Did you? I was warning people on Friday morning to expect, a let up in the momentum over the weekend, and of course, I was all wrong.
Right. I mean, I don't follow to the degree as I do hockey, but I have, been paying attention, and it's clearly amazing. It's not a bad thing, right?
It's just amazing. And I was thinking last night. I'm very impressed by Chad, the new manager who started the season managing the AAA team down in Worcester and was called up when they fired Alex Cora. And I remember I was very impressed by the interview, just his calm kind of analysis of what would need to happen going forward after the 15-game winning streak ended. That was a critical moment, and it occurs to me that they're probably, he's probably got some great life lessons for all of us.
And I did see an interview where the sportscast is talking about him yesterday, actually, and they were saying that, he knew a lot of those players, right, because he had coached them on their way up, so it was kind of a smooth transition. So
I think it's a combination of working one-on-one with the players, but keeping in mind the team effort, and that can be a real hard juggling act. He seems to have mastered it. And I continue to be amazed at the fact that they haven't removed the interim from his title. I mean, I would think at this point he would be more than interim manager.
Right.
But that's for people above and beyond us. Anyway, Chief Stewart is here this morning in advance of a major event tomorrow evening in Brunswick and throughout the country. That would be National Night Out. And you've had some experience with this in other years. Just tell me about how this whole thing got started and what it is exactly.
Well, when I started here in 2020, Brunswick hadn't had a national night out, and something that I wanted to implement, so we started it in 2021, and we've had it every year, and the weather is cooperating again with us tomorrow night. So from 4 to 7 we'll be over at Parks and Rec, and all kinds of activities, and some free food, and the dunk tank again, which is a big hit.
Will you be dunked? Everybody wants to know.
Oh yes.
All right.
And in fact, I've reached out. The fire chief did it last year with me, and I reached out to him this morning and tried to pressure him to do it as well. We'll see, but
I would think here in the thick of summer, it could be a rather refreshing thing.
Yeah. It's we'll call it refreshing, I guess. Yeah.
As long as you don't, wear formal attire or something like that, wear some appropriate clothing.
Well, I could pull a few strings and get you in the tank, too, if you'd like.
No,
are you sure?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay on that. Although, it'd be something to say, but I don't need that. I have enough humiliation in my life.
All right.
Anyway, Chief, I ran across this. I don't know exactly where this description came from this morning, but I was saying a moment ago that I just have a sense this really captures the essence of the event. It says here, National Night Out is an annual community building event that strengthens the partnership between law enforcement, first responders, and the neighbors we proudly serve. It's an opportunity to meet the people behind the badges, learn about the work we do, and introduce us to your family.
Right.
Is that about it?
It is, and it's all part of that community policing philosophy, and a lot of this is a national event, and it's the first Tuesday of August every year, and it's more than that for us. I mean, this is just a piece of what we do, and this is an event where we allow people to come and or invite rather to look at static displays. We have another Blackhawk coming in this year. We have different canine demonstrations and drone demonstrations, etc. But it's it's just a piece of the puzzle of making ourselves available to the community and interacting with them.
Okay, speaking of making yourself available to the community, I know you've got all kinds of events, and some of these are, just extremely attractive and alluring, particularly to kids. But I'm just wondering if the whole idea here is to bond the community.
Sure.
With the police. What if somebody out there, and I think there are a fair number of people in this category, they have some question, they want to know something about what you do, they might have some ongoing beef of some kind that they've never had resolved. Is there an opportunity just for them to walk up to you or someone else and just have a conversation about something?
Always. I will say that this event is geared not for those types of questions, but that's more of a coffee with a cop or another event. However, we're never going to say no. We're never going to say I don't want to talk to you about this. But I may say, well, given the complexity of the question, let's sit down, let's make an appointment and talk about this at another time as well.
I'm just looking at the events here. Free school supplies and backpacks is. I can't believe it. There's a part of me that resists even talking about it, but we're headed back to school in a few weeks.
Yeah, we partnered with Walmart for that.
Yeah, I read about that. That's a pretty extensive partnership.
It's awesome.
Yeah, got a post on that on your page. You're going to have an Army National Guard Black Hawk helicopter there.
Yep.
How did that come about?
People have connections, and we were able to make that happen.
Okay. In addition to the dunk tank, you will have a bounce house.
Yep. Always
a lot of fun. Plenty of food, and I would imagine some of that is free.
Oh, it's all free, and the fire department is also going to be there, and they're going to have a lot of their static displays as well.
And we love our dogs, so you will have canine demonstrations, right?
Yes.
And you will have dogs from a program. This is kind of new to me, but it has an acronym here: Maine Search and Rescue Dogs.
Yes. So they're a private company, not company, but entity, and they do a lot of searching with the warden service for missing people.
Okay. We have some other subjects too. Does that cover it? Anything else?
No, that's good. Just come out and see us tomorrow.
It is one thing we haven't mentioned, I don't think, which is kind of key, is the location, the rec center, or maybe we did mention that.
Yep, the rec center.
And what time does this get rolling?
4 o'clock.
Early and through the evening?
To 7 o'clock.
Okay. Not bad. That's pretty good time for a lot of people. 7:46, 14 till 8. We'll have more with the chief on a number of subjects that I am burning to ask him about in just a moment. But right now, a check of your top stories this morning on the Midcoast. And Senator Susan Collins and Senator Patty Murray of Washington State, the highest-ranking Democrat on the Senate Appropriations Committee, which Susan Collins chairs, announcing a bipartisan deal to keep the federal government funded for the first 10 weeks of the new federal fiscal year, which begins on October 1st. In Brunswick this evening, there is likely to be some interesting action, but first, comments from the public on a proposed rate of growth ordinance, which would set up an annual limit on new dwelling units in Brunswick's rural area to help manage development pressure at a time when growth, particularly rural growth, becomes ever more a top-of-mind issue here in Brunswick. Rainy day, showers and thunderstorms, and some notable fog this morning. How was the fog?
I didn't see any fog. I didn't see any fog. No.
It was. I will tell you, about 6 o'clock this morning, it was dense here in downtown. I mean, we were sort of on the edges of that wall of fog thing that we get about twice a year when you really can't see in front of your face. I made a little road trip shortly before 6, and, I mean, there was really no problem, but there was notable fog out this morning. It tends to happen early in the day, and thankfully usually goes away pretty quickly, but I'm glad to hear that That's not a big factor right now. Okay, and now we're at 7:50, 10 minutes to late. The Midcoast Morning Buzz on a Monday. Jim Bleikamp here with Brunswick Police Chief Scott Stewart, who joins us once a month just to catch up on everything. And just speaking, this is kind of a natural follow-up, I think, to National Night Out. You had the Hot Pursuit Charity Cruise-In this weekend. That's a union thing, right?
It is.
But, so you were probably over there?
No, actually, no. I was not. No, I was busy, but...
I assume you got some report, though, on the
went well from what I understand, and that's a big moneymaker for the union to turn around and give back to the community.
I know a lot of people have a lot of fun with that, too. Okay. There is a rather striking story this morning in the Washington Post, and I am still catching up on the whole concept of Flock. But Flock is a surveillance firm that has more than 120,000, I had no idea there were this many, 120,000 shoebox-sized cameras around the nation. Mm-hmm. My understanding is most of these, if not all, are contracted for by law enforcement in various communities. Yep. They scan the roads of more than 6,000 communities, record 20 billion plate scans a month, and in some communities now, and you can imagine this would happen, police officers have been charged with or accused of misusing Flock and other systems. In one case down south, some officer is accused of using Flock to harass an ex-wife. Mm-hmm. What do you know about Flock?
Well, it's obviously a company that there's a lot of controversy that goes with that company of how they manage data. And as far as officers abusing it, hopefully those departments have strict policies in place and hold their officers accountable when they violate those.
Do we have Flock cameras in Brunswick?
We do not.
We don't?
No.
Might we in the future?
No, I don't. Flock is not proven itself to be a reputable company with as far as how they're handling data. I mean, from what I've understood, rather, they've said one thing and not always followed through. But I don't have any interest in doing that.
Okay, but I mean, what about the concept in general? I mean, I know cameras are a very touchy thing, but they could certainly aid you, especially in certain spots where that might be particularly prone for one reason or another to suspicious activity.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2025, right? I mean, if I understand people are worried about being tracked, but people's cell phones track more than anything. So. I mean, it's technology, and when used appropriately, it's okay.
It's all about using it appropriately.
That's right.
And that can be a very tough nut sometimes. Okay. Speaking of totally non-controversial issues here, I really would like to ask you about something. We noted this in our news last week, the new ICE Out law, as it is known, that restricts the cooperation of local police departments like yours with federal immigration agencies. Your view of this, and does it have significant impact in Brunswick?
Well, it was a law that the Maine chiefs opposed, obviously. That being said, and you've heard me say it many times, I mean, we'll respond to the will of the people and we'll make do, and that's what we did. In fact, we enacted, even though that law technically took effect last week here in Brunswick, we've been abiding by that since March.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
And you are the president of the Maine Police Chiefs Association. Your organization did take a formal stand against this.
We did. What's
the problem with this as you see it?
Nothing that can't be, over. We can't get by. But there's some extra steps. It was awful convenient and quick to use their services, particularly the border PDs and agencies up north really rely on federal law enforcement, and there's going to be some hiccups that, again, they they'll overcome. But if we had our way, it wouldn't have happened. But again, that's gone.
But you're saying less impact here on the more populated southern Maine than up north.
Yeah, we'll get by. That's fine.
And what can't you do now that you could do a year ago?
Well, one of the biggest things was we used their interpretation services. They were and used them to help identify people that we were struggling with. They have a lot more resources, and they had fingerprint technology. Some other things to help us when we had a hard time trying to figure out who exactly we were dealing with, who had committed a crime.
There's one other thing. There, I think, has been some ample evidence that ICE recently, in course of the buildup and the increased staffing of ICE, has not been exactly meticulous in their hiring, may have hired some people of questionable repute. You, I know, take a lot of care in who you hire. You have that reputation. How much do you worry about the activities of ICE really shading and perhaps damaging the public image and impressions of law enforcement in general? Yeah,
that's a good question. And unfortunately, a lot of people just kind of put all law enforcement in one bucket. Mm-hmm. And so, as I tell people, we can only control us. We can't control others. And I remind people when I hear that yeah, I agree. That wasn't right, or I don't, I wouldn't have done that, or our department wouldn't have taken that course of action. But people just need to remember that Brunswick is Brunswick, and the federal government's the federal government.
Okay. We're at 7:56, 4 minutes to late. Time flies when I'm talking to you, but I've got a few more. We are sitting here this morning at the edge of the busiest month of the year, and I know I don't have to tell you that. I mean, you're right on the front lines of it. How does perhaps policing change in Brunswick in this month of August to meet the demands that you might not face the rest of the year?
Well, we have a lot of traffic-related issues, a lot of crashes, traffic complaints. Alcohol use is increased this time of year, so that obviously has its repercussions as well. But as you said, fall's around the corner.
It's been, though, my impression is that it's been a pretty peaceful summer in comparison to some others.
Yeah, I mean, overall, we have numbers that tend to spike this time of year, and then they'll come down, and then they may go up again in around the holidays. But
okay, here's one for you. I know that at this time of year, we have a good number of out-of-towners listening this morning. They come in, they scan around for local radio to find out what to do and what's going on. They are listening this morning. If you have their attention right now, if you could pass on one or two tips for maybe making it easier for them in this town in the course of their summer vacation, and maybe simultaneously making it easier for you, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to have patience with traffic on Route 1, Pleasant Street. Tell them to put the phones down, please.
And you would tell that to people who are here all year.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So, and then, the certain key times that traffic gets bad, and that's around BIW traffic. So particularly in the afternoon, 3:30ish, things back up on the ramps and whatnot. So avoid traveling at those times if possible.
And one particular question, could I reasonably assume that at this time of year there is an increase in people who are headed north on Main Street, say from, maybe someplace like the high school or something like that, and desire to turn left at Pleasant Street?
Yes. Yes, that happens, doesn't it?
So more and more close calls there. Yeah, if you're from out of town, know that even though it looks like that would be a perfectly logical left turn there, if you were coming north on Main Street, you can significantly endanger your life by trying to turn left there. think we do a vast public service by
We do, and
pointing that
you
out.
know, we have at least, well, I don't know, I'm going to guess 4 people a week who we see drive the wrong way down Pleasant Street in front of the PD.
I would think at least that.
Yeah, and that I'm being generous, I guess, but yeah.
I did it once when I first came to town. I will admit I've never done it since. But, you know, it's just, it looks so obvious there, but it's not.
Right.
Anyway. Okay. Chief, now I think we've made especially good use of time this morning. Covered a lot of ground. Brunswick Police Chief Scott Stewart, don't forget that tomorrow afternoon and evening, actually, 4 till 7, it's a big night for the police department, big night for the community, and a lot of fun to be had at National Night Out, Brunswick Recreation Center.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it. May stop over if I get the time. I'm always so time crunched. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you
Very much. Brunswick Police Chief Scott Stewart, 8 o'clock now at WCME.